Have you lost the connection with your higher self? Are you noticing the dis-ease of the outside world? It's time to reconnect with nature and each other and raise our consciousness, vibration, and frequency. Together we can create a world of peace and abundance. It's Spiritual Revolution Radio with your host, Dr. Will Miller.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spiritual Revolution Radio today. I have a very special guest and a very special friend with me, Nicole Ashton, who is a world-renowned healer. She's also does, besides healing, she travels and does channeling for people, and has spent a lot of time just helping so many people live better lives and really understanding where we're at. And that's where we're going to go today, is we're going to talk about a little bit about where we're at in the world today, what we can all do to kind of get through this together and maybe and take it a little softer than what seems to be happening. In my intro, it talks about maybe you've noticed the dis-ease of the world. I think we all have for a while now. And we're going to talk about and both give our ideas of what's going on. And I'm going to ask Nicole maybe some questions to have her even channel today and come up with some answers for us by channeling. Nicole, thanks for being here and welcome to the show. If you wouldn't mind to just kind of give, everyone an idea of how you got to where you're at and what we're doing now.
Perfect. Hello. I'm Nicole Ashton, and it is an honor to be here. Thank you for having me on your show. Yeah. My journey began when I was just a baby child at 4.5. I was the first time a baby child. I'm still in the kind of infant stage, but I'm graduating a little bit. I don't know where that word comes from, but it's stuck perfectly. So at 4.5, I got the opportunity to fall out of a truck, bump my head, go into a coma. So it's the first time I crossed over, and I met angels. Some call them angels, some call them lights, whatever that looks like to you. I got to learn about alternate reality, about heaven, about something so beautiful. And I learned at that time where we came from at 4.5. And then at about 6, I got an opportunity to almost get hit by a car. Saw these angels of light move this car over. And a lady she was hanging halfway out of it. She was on her way to pass over. So I got to go touch her on her head, saw the veil, this reality open up, and saw her cross over to the other side. So from a little girl, I understood what we're going through now in these times. I got to see the ups and downs and more we'll talk about later. And as life happened, I got to exercise my gifts and my abilities through my children and helping a lot of people. Then at about the age 33, I got to cross over once more for 10 minutes. And in that moment, my whole life made sense, and why I'm here made sense. Why we're here made sense to me. Mm-hmm. And in this beautiful, massive white light, while I was flatlined, I learned that we are energy. We are spirit. We are energy. We are soul, and in this nothingness, I guess you could say, that was full of immaculate love. I got to feel. There's no visions. There's no form. It was feeling this masculine and feminine light. And in that moment, I got to get plugged in. It felt like that my whole life, it's a life review. I feel like that's the best way to explain it. And I got to see my past, present, and future. And I knew I was coming back. And I knew I got the opportunity to choose how I wanted to feel when I came back, and I chose forgiveness. And at that moment, I realized it was myself I had to ask forgiveness to, because that space I was in, there was not even a reality or a knowingness or a judgment there at all. So at that moment, I chose to come back and heal my body and step into this purpose that I was built for from the beginning, from my origin, from when I was born. Mm-hmm. And so that is that is a little bit about me. And then it's took me to traveling the world and trying to understand this energy that I had, because I went in search of what was wrong with me, because so many people didn't understand me, and it created fear in myself. So a lot of people ask, you died and you came back several times. Why do you still hold fear and have these human behaviors and so on? Just because I know what's out there doesn't mean I'm not here in this third dimensional world still working through exactly what everybody else is. Maybe I have different tools, new tools that I'm teaching, and I'm reminding people every day to come out of those situations that they put themselves in. But that part I feel has got me. Oh, I went in search of what was wrong with me, and I found out everything is right with me, even in my very lowest moments to my highest moments. I'm still me. I'm still all love. And then just began doing the work with knowing what's coming in the world. I still have a strong knowingness that joy will get us through what's happening now, and unconditional, unfailing love from that God source creator, the one that created you life, is where we will
conquer kind of what's going on, you think?
Expand,
a better word.
Yeah. There's just a collective consciousness. How would any, with all of us existing in the same collective consciousness with so many different vibrations, so many different energies, so many different views, to be able to say, hey, this is the outcome, this is what it looks like, it started now, it started then, is impossible. I know when I get challenged on that one, because people say, you teach it's this limitless possibilities. Yes. But, when you're in your alignment, when you are in that universal flow, yeah, possibilities are all around you, infinite. But when you are sharing consciousness with other people, then all of us that chose to incarnate at this time, you get to, on purpose, I don't want to say survive, because that just doesn't work for me, but a lack of better words, we are surviving here, I guess. So so to give a timeline or a definite this or that on what's going on and what's going to happen has been pretty much, there isn't one. So
and you say really there really isn't a timeline on what's going on right now. But as you look at what's going on in the world, we've dealt with so much, and there's so many different viewpoints on it, and so many people from different origins and different ways of thinking all over the world, trying to come together on what should be done and should not be done. My guest last week, and I know you listened to the show, so you were listening to Dr. Joy last week when she was talking about these are the end times, and what we're going through is just kind of the beginning of what's coming. I was reading an article from Dr. McCullough this morning, and he says that COVID is World War III. World War III is happening right now. What's your take on that? What do you think is going on right now and where we're at?
So as I have observed the different realities, the different opinions, the different perceptions, it's again, when you are looking at this timeline, what is happening, it is bound to happen. My always go to 0 point, I guess you could say, is the joy and the happiness. I want to shed light on that, on all that Dr. Joyce said. It's the inevitable. We are here, we're in this now, and we chose this timeline to walk through those dark stages of shadow, and it is going to happen. When I hear her speak, in all honoring her, what she has done, then I observed it in the white light and said, what can I do to assist in the highest light possible while that's happening? Right. Can we stop it? It depends on how many of us wake up into the higher white light realms, but avoiding it is probably unknown.
So, and I always explain it kind of this way. I mean, we are third dimensional beings. living in a world that's moving into its fourth dimension. I mean, the world is basically, or Mother Earth, if you will, has already kind of moved along and we're feeling a little out of balance. And there's almost 8 billion people on this planet now, right? And you do have all these different origins, these different conditioning. Everybody's brought up with different conditioning and different ways of thinking. How do we put all that together? I do know there's so many people that we call light workers, whatever you want, light warriors, whatever you want to call yourself, right? That are out there trying to get the word out. And I agree with you. The more that people kind of awaken to what's going on and come into their own, look within and start making decisions for themselves rather than listening to maybe the dark sources that are feeding us. So have since the day we were born been feeding us so much information. You had these opportunities throughout your life to be conditioned a little differently through near-death experiences, but we all don't have to do that, right? We can have that awakening on our own. So what are you telling people to do to come into this awakening and telling them what to expect?
The most important thing is to realize you are in the third dimension. We are light workers. We have all these titles that have either been given to us or we've claimed to be our own. But the truth of the third dimension is you're here. You're in this now. So as you are pulling or calling forth essences of you from multidimensional or multi-realities, alternate realities, visions, dream times, whatever that looks like to you, and they're all the same thing. When you are in that space, bring in. Someone's disagreeing with me. I can feel that, but I love you. And you go ahead and we'll discuss that later. I can feel it. But we're living these multi-dimensional realities, these alternate realities, and when you are realizing that these past experiences, even in this lifetime, you pull those strengths in and you use them in the third dimensional reality, and then I think what we can be real with ourselves is we are in the fourth dimension right now. We are already moving into the chaotic state.
Right.
And so when you're walking through this fourth dimension, everybody's going through it at a different time, which is so fascinating to me to watch when I pull myself out out of the collective. Like right now that happens to me. Someone disagrees with me and they'll try to, and I can feel it. And that's okay. We're not here to agree with each other on anything. And I'm one of the most sensitive empaths. They call me a Heyoki. So I have traveled with indigenous people to find out what this empathism is that I express is, and I'm like this child, so my verbiage is probably never right on for those anyone critiquing my words, but it's okay. I love you anyway. But so for us to stay in our empowerment here in this now is one, don't lose your childlike expression. Don't take things too serious because of this, as far as your personality, because you're trying to find out what is your conditioned personality, what is your true system, what is this true makeup, what is my design. I know I'm the designer. I know I'm the director. I know I created this before I came. And now where is those tools that I were placed for me to find, so that we can come together in these last days. And a lot of people say, Nicole, you have all the answers, which I know. Once you awaken, you know that it goes bigger and bigger and bigger, and you know nothing at all. But I found that we awaken at different times to find each other. Like we each hold like key codes. We each hold like these expressions of light, fractions of light, so that we can find each other and make a whole, create the whole, remember the whole, that oneness, and then Mother Earth. We will raise past that fourth dimension that you're already walking in.
Right, and I think as people awaken, and you find those around you that are awakening too, and really, like you say, at the same time as you. I mean, one of the laws of the universe is energy flows from a higher source to a lower source, Mm-hmm. And I think as that's happening and we awaken here, that, our energy awakes to other people who help us grow, who help us understand, and all of a sudden our gifts start to shine, that we've carried really with us all along. We've just been conditioned to shut them off or not see them. And what I found is we've kind of gone to, you see two different ways. You see these people awakening and searching and finding those people, and then you see, I picture the ostrich with their head in the sand, you know. They just want to hide from everything that's going on. It's just too much sometimes, and it's too much for me sometimes. You and I were talking about this earlier, Dave. There's so much that hits me sometimes. I just get so caught up and I can't move. You know, I want to bury my hand in the sand for a little while, and we've all done it.
But the most amazing thing is you don't. And just like right now, I'm getting an energetic wave that I love you for whoever's stretching me right now. And because my voice is being constricted. This is called real time. This is really what people go through every day when they go to speak their truth. When this happens, people are coming at you, either their spirits or them personally. It doesn't really matter right now. We are in the midst of an air quote war. What I don't like calling it that. I wish there was a better word, but there's not. And if it's in the heavens, if it's on the grounds, if it's in front of you right now, it is here. And right now, as I'm feeling this energy of someone wanting me to either not talk or they just are
don't like what you're saying.
Like what I'm saying, you know what? That is okay. You don't have to. We're not inviting you to expand with us. Be right where you're at and expand your own way. That's the joy of being here on earth and why we chose this time. Because when you come here and you learn in this massive light, this library, this language of light, this language of love, the universal love, guess what? You expand further and further in the universe. So I'm not here for those ones. I'm here for the ones that are in deep suffering, and they are waiting and for somebody to shine the light in their darkness. And then the ones that are willing to raise above and find themselves in this massive world of chaos, you know. Those are the people, those are the ones that are following the same wave of light I am. You know what? There might be another one over here and different lights all over the place. Go there.
follow the light that you want to follow, right?
And I've always been like that since little. So I feel like I've always had the discrimination, air quotes. I don't think it is. I think it's an opportunity to grow. People tell me all the time, people aren't very nice to me sometimes when I go places. I don't get it. That's not in my realm. I don't invite it, but I don't entertain it either, because I feel what I saw in that white light, that massive white light that loves us so much, that we are all welcome there. And that's where I want to go. So when I died and I came back and I wasn't walking and I heard that, and it's kind of like people are telling you can't do stuff. You can't do this. You have to go here. You have to be this kind of person. You know, you were raised this way. And before I was conscious, so after I died, I came back, and before I could communicate or walk or talk or anything, I had a choice to follow what everyone was saying in this chaotic world, saying they were going to plan for me to be in this bed, and all the stuff that they were choosing, or I could stay in the white light where I crossed over at. And I feel like that's where people are at right now, is what are you going to do? Because there's no gray areas anymore.
Yeah, I think things are happening so fast that you have to make a choice. Yeah. And karma doesn't wait. Karma is almost immediate right now in what we're going through. And you have to choose. I think we're at a point where we have to choose. We have to start looking into our heart. We need to start understanding what real unconditional love is. And we have to start understanding what true joy is. Because chaos happens for a reason. Without chaos, change will not happen. Change will not come about unless there is a major chaos. We are in the age of chaos, in the time of chaos, because it's a time of change. So there's two ways you can look at that. You can look and say, oh, we're in a time of chaos. It's so awful. I hate being here. Or you can say, oh, my gosh, I'm in a time of change. I'm so excited about what's coming. And that's where I feel that we need to move people. Right?
It's so amazing. The most amazing thing about that is that I heard prior to you saying that, like right before that, whoever was streaming their energy at me that wasn't of the most highest energy, said I shattered their reality in some way. So that probably means I tested their ego, which gives them an opportunity to grow. And so it's the same thing that you just said in a different in a different perception. So
yeah, it really is. It's exactly what you say. Your ego has to be somewhat shattered in order to grow, right? Even in the chaos that's going around, the chaos that is coming, all the things that may happen, as we go through this process of change, it has to happen this way. And so I always tell people we're on the right path. It's going to be okay. The ones that are going to struggle the most are the ones that don't awaken to this, right? The ones that want to really stay third dimensional. And that's okay too, because they're here to learn their own lessons as well. So,
along with, I've been asked this before, the ones that want to change are like the light workers have already changed, and the ones that want to change are ready. The ones there's like all these different stereotypes of where people are at, but my recognizing, or what I've recognized with people that want to shift, even the ones that are in the most perfect, air quote, perfect light in life, they need a lot of help too. Because right now I've worked with a lot of light workers and energy workers and awakeners and ascension masters and even cleared the temples in Asia. And they're sometimes it's hitting their physical harder because they're in denial that they have to shift. Your physical has to shift, no matter how many times that you bow, pray, or how many sessions you do of light, you still have a physical shift that has to happen. So I recognized in some of the clients, because I work with a lot of healers, that their shadow work is very difficult for them to do. We're in the fourth dimension, your shadow's here, it's now. And for you to embrace it and say, oh my gosh, what did you just show me? I've done stuff that I was judged harshly for because I stepped back into the shadow, not knowing that's what was happening. But after, on the other side, and I'm sure I have more, everybody does right now, after stepping back and looking at it, I embraced that shadow. And once I loved all those pieces of me that I thought were unlovable, that's when another shift happened. That's when the unfailing love happened. I have unconditional love, source love that everybody feels. But I didn't have that love for myself because I was hiding pieces of me that, past or not, present or not, it was pieces of me that I got to embrace. I am in this third dimensional world. Therefore, those things in life that I thought that I was denying myself because I had to live in this perfect box where people wouldn't, like, why would they come to me if I wasn't living the righteous angelic life, which I was to the moment I woke up, to the minute as you know. But I lost myself. And right now, regaining that and knowing that we're in this fourth dimensional shift time, that we have to use all aspects of ourselves. We get to pull in the angel essence. We get to pull in the essence of like 200 years ago when we were living a different reality. That all of that is in the now. And when you look at it as a celebration and through unconditional love and an opportunity to grow, everything looks different.
Well, and I think you make a really good point in that fact that I think where most people are struggling, and when I say most, I mean myself, is that we are very judgmental on ourselves, and we're harsh on ourselves right now, especially right now, because I know I have my Life by Design Institute. And I know people are always looking at me, and I'm coaching these people to live better. And I'm in judgment on myself probably all of the time, right? And I like what you really say is as we shift here, the secret really is becoming comfortable with who you really are and understanding those things and loving you despite any of those shortcomings that you have, and loving yourself unconditionally. It's easier sometimes for us, I think, to love others unconditionally than it is ourselves. And I was talking actually to someone this morning about this, and I put the same thing into freedoms. You know, in the United States, we've been so used to certain freedoms, you know, that we don't see it as other people somewhere else would see freedom. They in Europe, for instance, a lot of people are standing up for their rights because they've had experience in the past. You say we bring the past with us. They've had those experiences in the past that we've never had here. We've never been in a war on our own soil. We've never had to deal with those kinds of freedoms. So, and that kind of goes in that same thing. We're harsh on ourselves, and we're not seeing what's happening around us, and it's scary for a lot of people. You know, it's scary for me. You said when we got in the car today to come to the radio show, I sense this fear in you. You know, this loss, this fear that's going on, and I'm just like, gosh, it's so hard to hide anything from you. Darn it.
Right?
So, because you just see right through, and I'm glad that you do, because
and
you've helped me so much.
And I love you anyways. And I do see those pieces of people, and I love them. I have learned my own boundaries because I see I see everyone's highest light. And then I see their stuff that they get to go through and they're going through, and I love them anyway. And I embrace, and sometimes I when someone really needs lots of love and a lot of attention, and they're not ready, I put myself in a position to hurt my energy. Because when someone's not ready and you're lifting them up and you're sharing your energy, then it will affect you. And so I learned boundaries in that way. But my teaching is unconditional love, and it has always been just embrace all things and welcome all things. And this last little while, it has shifted to love people where they're at, and some need to be from a distance, because if we are giving and giving and giving, and that human part of you, dang that you're human. That's what I was thinking when you were talking about that. You're like, even you go through your stuff, you know. Right. We're human. We may have a consciousness connection, or born awake, or are living transmissions of the source God creator, but and have this purpose that we've known, that we know our purpose, and people are trying to find theirs, and they look up at us like we know theirs too, but we know ours. And for some reason, your higher self just connected to me you're the one that needed to know that. You need to know that you are honored, you are recognized as who you are, as who you truly are. So you spend a lot of time listening and listening and listening. And if you share a little bit about yourself, sorry I turned it on you, but it's not, this is you, this is not coming from me. But when you're spending a lot of time getting validation, or hoping there's validation because you want somebody to tell you, that's right, everything that you see at night, everything you've seen since a little teeny baby, it's like 1 year old, you were visioning, you were seeing the multi-level, the alternative realities. So you are on purpose. You're walking that transmission of light and love every single day. But it looks to me as if as you've grown, then you have been shadowed, that not completely trusting in that who you are. And so your angels, your guides that just showed up in legions, just want you to know that everything you've seen since a little toddler are correct. And it is your time to step into that light, that wave of light. We are the wake. We are the wake right now, like the water wake. You go out there on the boat. You're the wake right now, awake. And it's time for us to live awake. Yeah.
Well, there you go. You can't hide anything from you. Even it's all on video now. out for people to listen to.
Sometimes that happens, and
thanks
you.
For that. I did need that, so thank you.
Right, and we all unconditional and love. Like, real time is the best time to realize that life happens. That happens every day to us. Most people would either go hide, or people are afraid of who they are. And either they're way too white light and they intimidate people, or they feel like they're way ego or down really low. Excuse me. The ego feeds both of those. So it's like, where's our balance? And I'm asking for that. Like, where's that balance in watching people fight with their egos? Either they're in the depths of sorrow, and they are the most sorrowful person in the whole entire universe, or they're the most highest. See, the ego plays on both parts.
Absolutely, yeah.
And as we're shifting and balancing and trying to figure that out, I trust that you standing into your authentic, humble I say because I know your story. You walked humiliation in your own journey, as we all have, and you've owned and honored that. So as you step in this next phase of your experience, I trust that those guides, angels, and ascended masters that just stepped in will give you confidence to move forward with that voice that you have to open people's throat chakras. Think about that. If they're channeling that your throat chakra is opening, that is the fifth dimension. That is the fifth chakra. That's the fifth energy cycle. We're going through the heart, the chaos, the constant balancing of unconditional love. And we have to be shown some of those dark shadows to realize what unconditional love is. Without those shadows and without that constant reminders, those triggers, we wouldn't know what unconditional love was. Because we would always be judging it on somebody else. That couple loves that couple more. That person who shows more love, her eyes twinkle a little bit more better than that one. You know, there's always this thing that the humans do. But right now, erase that, reset. You have the immaculate power within inside of yourself to reset that.
I like what. Obviously, a lot of what you're saying is you're putting right at me, and I appreciate that. But I think I can feel that it definitely is helping a lot of people that are listening, because I think a lot of people are in that place. You know, right now, more than anything, we need to be accepting of ourselves and of others, and where they're at in their journey, and because that's what is going on in the world. From all the dark energy out there is really pushing this accepting of others and their beliefs and thoughts and ideas, being not tolerant of that, and creating anger over it, right? So I think really what hits me as you talk, as we start to wind down here a little bit, we really need to be very accepting of ourselves. And once we become, like you have said, once you became as accepting of your shadows as well, and you felt that unconditional love, the more people we get into that place, the better off this whole change and will be for everyone.
Yes.
And it'll be more exciting for those that really get into that place, I think.
And so people ask me the most, or say the most, that they are looking for their soul family, their tribe. They feel alone in this world. So I invite you to step into your authentic space, really walk through those shadows right now, because as the world shifts and it gets more difficult, when you're standing in space and in your space, your authentic space, when this happens to you, you'll be able to observe and love unconditionally those around you, and your soul tribe will show up, and then that team, that soul family will start to expand. But until you do that, you're attracting what wasn't working before. So people will try to gain that family. They really want acceptance. They really want love. Well, when you accept yourself and you love yourself for that beautiful shine, your birthright is to shine. Your birthright is unconditional love. You were born here in this now because you are a miracle the world's been waiting for. All those prayers for thousands of years were listened to, were heard. And when you tap your heart, I invite you to accept and allow that for you, because you are amazing and you are loved more than you can imagine.
I think this is probably a good place to wrap up the show. We've gone over about almost 10 minutes now, but tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and where they can find you on the web.
It's Nicole Ashton on Facebook, and my company is energyhealingbydesign.com.
And then you can find me at lifebydesign.institute. Of course, get a hold of me at spiritualrevolutionradio.com if you want to be on the show or make comment. We try to get to the comments every show. Love and peace, everyone, and have an amazing day.
This has been Spiritual Revolution Radio with Dr. Will Miller. For more information or to be a guest, please visit lifebydesign.institute. Join us next week for another edition of Spiritual Revolution Radio with your host, Dr. Will Miller. This has been a production from a podcast studio.